the other slips and goes a little later. But Justin Herbert is a guy who's coming on. But you got to think when the Miami Dolphins made this decision to go to Tua in place of Fitz Magic, everyone figured the season was over with. He's ran off 2 straight victories in a row. One against the Arizona Cardinals. Prior to that, they beat up on the lonely Los Angeles Rams. So you talk about these 2 young guys. They'll be forever linked together because of the draft that they came out. You think about the Ryan Leaf, Peyton Manning situation, everything you knew about them compared long-term. One career went one way, the others went another. Both of these guys are terrific. I see their careers going in similar paths with each other.
Yeah, a lot of focus has been on Tua Tagovailoa, but I'm more interested in Miami's defense, actually. They've scored a touchdown in their last 2 games off their defense. All of a sudden, it looks like their defense can make some noise. Justin Herbert's been putting up big numbers, but I think Miami comes through in this one.
Second down, Bills at Cardinals.
This is a huge game for both teams. In particular, really big, though, for Arizona, in my opinion. Here's a team at 5-3 that's trying to stay in contention and win this division. I feel like Buffalo's going to win the AFC East, even though they're only 1 game up on the Miami Dolphins. Buffalo's been playing pretty good football of late. Josh Allen has kind of turned back to that early MVP conversation form that he had with Dan Orlovsky. When you talk about the Cardinals and Kyler Murray, this is an interesting football team, I would say. Their defense scares me a little bit. I'm excited about what they do in the air raid offense in terms of scoring in bunches, putting up a lot of yards. But winning 35-36 every single week is just a bit of a heart attack for me.
Yeah, I have the Bills in this one. There's been a lot of talk when we've been comparing Kyler Murray to other great players. Did you watch what the Bills did to Russell Wilson the other week? Did you watch how many times he got sacked, how hard he got hit? Let's see how Kyler Murray responds to the physicality that the Bills bring to the table.
Third down, Seahawks at Rams.
This is an interesting football game here. Division rivals, they know each other really, really well. The Rams play Seattle extremely tough with Russell Wilson. The defense of the Seattle Seahawks have given up over 3,500 yards this year in total offense. And the Rams have some high-powered players with Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. And when you look at Jared Goff trying to continue to play as well as he's been playing, not put any stinkers out there of late. So when you talk about that, the Rams defense and Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald, and those guys pinning their ears back to try and go get Russell Wilson. Jalen Ramsey on DK Metcalf is going to be an interesting, not only conversation, but battle. Imagine what those two will be saying to each other, especially Jalen Ramsey.
Didn't Jared Goff come off a pretty horrible game against the Dolphins?
Yeah.
It was
that's what I said. Hopefully he won't be putting any more stinkers
out there. Well, this is a secondary to do it against. I just find it hard to believe that Russell Wilson's going to lose 2 games in a row. But I think that they get it done, obviously, against the secondary of Seattle.
Fourth down, Buccaneers at Panthers.
6-3 Buccaneers take on the 3-6 Carolina Panthers. Carolina, when you look at them without Christian McCaffrey in the lineup, they've been okay. They fight. No question about it. But this game is all about Tom Brady, Bruce Arians, Byron Leftwich, and the offense. What are they going to do? How are they going to bounce back after putting a dud against the New Orleans Saints together? Can Tom Brady figure out how to get the ball to Mike Evans? Can Tom Brady figure out how to utilize Antonio Brown since they wanted to get him so bad into the lineup? Now they got him. Let's see how they utilize him and do some things. Can this Buccaneer defense turn back to what they were prior to seeing the New Orleans Saints against Teddy Bridgewater in that offense?
Can they run the ball? Can they establish the ground game? That's important initially, too, to keep the defense honest. Only 4 rushes against the Saints, but still, I know they were playing behind. I agree with Key and everything he says about targeting Evans and targeting Brown. I think if there's one game, even though they played the Chiefs really tough last week, if there's one game you can bounce back on before you play the Rams, it's against the Panthers. I think the Bucs bounce back pretty hard.
Bonus down. Ravens at Patriots.
This is an interesting game because last year Lamar Jackson became the youngest quarterback in Super Bowl era to beat an 8-0 or better team when the Ravens basically shellacked the Patriots 37-20 last year. He went nuts on them. Can he do that again with a struggling Patriots team? That offense and Cam Newton sputtering along, trying to get things done. I always go back to the fumble with Cam Newton against the Buffalo Bills. He fumbled that football. If he holds on to it, they may go on to win that game and have 2 wins in a row after last week's victory. What will this game be like? Is Bill Belichick going to allow Lamar Jackson and that offense to get the best of them 2 straight years in a row? I don't know. It'll be fun to watch and see.
When we were on with Bart the other day, Key, he made the point that so much of the salary cap has gone towards the Ravens defense. And, look, Patriots played against the Jets, that's fine. That's not the Ravens defense. So if there's one thing that the Ravens hang their hat on, it's going to be their defense. We'll see how Cam responds. And I also know Lamar has to throw outside the numbers. What are his targets? It seems like 2 offenses that are trying to find each other, but I know what the defense is going to bring to the table for the Ravens.
I wonder if Stephon Gilmore's going to play.
That's an interesting question. We'll keep
right.
an eye on that. On that game, you guys mentioned those guys together on the field on Sunday Night Football. And yes, earlier in the week, some of Lamar's comments about perhaps when he goes to the line of scrimmage, the defense knows what's coming.
I'm running to the left. Yeah, you running to the left, bro.
That got a lot of play. Keyshawn says that's not really a big deal, but this is really big when regarding the respect that Lamar has for Cam. I want to just read you a couple of quotes that Lamar said about Cam and get your thoughts on this as they prepare to meet on Sunday night. This is Lamar, quote, and think about this when everybody's down on Cam Newton. Just think about this, quote, I watched Cam since Auburn. Everybody in the country did. Everybody knew about Cam. Superman, doing his thing. A lot of us looked up to him. Then he said he won the Heisman, won the college championship, won MVP, went to the Super Bowl. I followed him a lot, wanted to get where he's at. Now I'm here. Now I've got to play against him. I just can't wait to do that. And he followed up with the headline that you may have seen on your phone yesterday, game recognized game. He's the OG Superman. How about that? That is some respect from Lamar. That is some respect. 2 former MVPs.
Well, he knows what he's looking at. I mean, Cam struggled this year. Okay, he struggled. All right, we get it. He got hurt last year. Okay. But when you polarizing like Cam, people want to step on you when you struggle. That's just what it is. The moment that, and I just hope that he gets back to winning and just balling out so he can laugh at everybody that thinks he's a joke right now. I really do.
You know what, Key, though? It's interesting. Every time we come on air and we feel like we're in a very reactionary culture where it's easy to become prisoner of the moment. What have you done for me lately? But when you contextualize and when you take a step back and you look at the full body of work, what Cam Newton has been able to do, would you expect him to do more? Everybody's always expecting somebody to do more. But hearing Lamar talk about all of his accomplishments, I mean, the body of work speaks for itself.
When you say expect for Cam to do more,
I'm just saying, look, we come up with argumentative topics all the time. And I see
I don't. That'd be the producers.
Not you. I'm just saying in general, though. And you hear this amongst talk radio, sports talk shows. I hear it for John Calipari in Kentucky. All right, do you expect he should have won more? It's not enough for all the recruits. It's so hard to win. It's so hard to be an MVP.
Of course it is. That's why I just laugh when people say stuff. It's because it's funny. When Cam is polarizing, man. Okay? He's not the normal. He doesn't, first of all, he does not, when he came into the league, however many years, when he was the number 1 overall pick, one of the first things the former owner at the Carolina Panthers asked him was about an earring and tattoos. That's start, right? You start
exactly
there. Then he has the scarves and the dress and the way he does things. Then he doesn't dive on the ball at the Super Bowl, so that became a major problem. Then he doesn't answer the questions at the Super Bowl, so that becomes a major problem. And then it steamrolls from there because they don't really understand who they're dealing with. Sometimes the media doesn't understand who that individual is that they are interviewing.
Because if they're not picture perfect, if they're not the All-American person,
it's not even the All-American. It's what has traditionally been a certain way at that position. Mm-hmm. The way that you carry yourself, the guy went into New England, had just signed with him and he was getting his butt just handed to him on sports talk radio in New England. Hadn't been in the building yet. And they were going at him. Why that is, I have no idea. It just happens that way. But I think when you look at the body of work and you winning makes a lot go away.
Yes, it does.
When you win games, people forget about all the other stuff. They like, yeah, we take him. I remember when Cam was in Carolina, man, and he did his dance, he did something. and a lady wrote a letter talking about he should get a ball in the stands. It's like, what are you talking about? He's been doing that. That's what he does. But that's just how people are. And he cannot worry about individuals in the fans and people in the media. You have to play and do what you can do to help your team win. I am a living witness of it, man. I went through it my entire damn career about this and that. And I was just like, you have no idea what the hell you're talking about. But when I leave off the field, I don't have to do an audition or nothing. I go right to Sunday and Monday countdown because they got it. They understood it. And they knew who that individual person was because they had the opportunity to sit in pre-production meetings and judge based on that, opposed to what somebody is writing in a newspaper or somebody saying on SportsCenter based on a clip or two. They had context with that by being able to sit in to pre-production meetings with me to be able to go, oh, okay. Yeah, I know what that's going to be. Mm-hmm. And so when you look at it, that's the way it's always been and set up. Lamar's going through the same thing. They don't like the way that, well, I don't really like the way he throw either sometimes, but people don't like his style of play. All he is a Cam Newton in a mirror waiting to happen. Like, what are you talking about? So if he goes on to take
they're completely different.
Completely different.
Like they're not the same at all.
But there's people out there that are comparing.
They're athletic. They run. I'll say it. They're black. They're quarterbacks.
I'll say it.
Like
you didn't have to say it.
But
you got two quarterbacks that have struggled to throw the ball in their careers. They both happen to be very dynamic with the ball in their hands when they run. They both happen to be black quarterbacks. Both wear single digits. Somebody pointed that out to me on our production meeting. And so when you start to look at those sort of things, people want to compare that. It's crazy. Two different type of players. One dude is a slasher that's